This was my stop loss. 96.49, basically like around there. So that was my entry, stop loss. For my second one, I got filled, right? I wanted to add. So once it pulled up, I wanted to add. Instead of adding one, I accidentally added five somewhere up here. And so I took off five as soon as and it kept going. I took off five. So it averaged me up right up here with four. And so then I readjusted my stop loss because my stop loss was way down here. So I was like, all right, let me readjust 250. At 250, it was somewhere like down here. And so that's why it got skewed. I made a mistake. And this was on TradingView. This is a paper trade, right? Because I've already traded the first account. I'll talk about that in just a second. But this is a model that I would have taken. This is a risk I would have accepted. This is something that I would take. And this is my second trade of the day. It's still playing out. As you can see, target has not been met. But that was my entry. That's what happened. That's why it looks skewed and it's not actually aligning up to my entry. But that's that. Okay, so how did I get this? How did I get -2 standard deviations? All right, let's talk about this for a second because this is important. If this is our manipulation move, if this is SMT and this is our manipulation leg, and if we measure that from bottom to top, you can see -2 standard deviations is right here. What is here? All of this liquidity is sitting here, right? Into -2 standard deviations, right? We also have this high and this high here. I'm only going to target this. I'm not going to target this high because there's a pretty good chance we might not even get there, right? Look at how we're rejecting right now. And I'm not targeting that. I'm only going to target what the chart gives me. Could we continue? Sure. Look at this. This is taking us -4. It ends around this area, which is great, but I'm not going to play that. Again, I don't have the time to play it. I've already played this model. I'm going to follow what I see. Second thing, right? Before all of this got formed, I was looking at this and I was like, okay, let's see. Can I find anything in here that is another market maker model? And I did. And we had a beautiful um rejection of this point SMT, right? This was a bearish SMT. So this tells me this is my manipulation leg from here to here, right? And I was like, all right, cool. Actually, let me check. Let me check where it was. From here to here. Yeah, there it is. From there to there. All right. And then look at where we land. -2 takes us right rebound, like tries to rebalance here, fails, accumulates. We end at the 4, right? Continue just a little bit lower, which is fine, right? I was only playing what the model was giving me. This is measuring what the model was giving me, and it was that, right? It was right down here. I was like, cool. As long as this doesn't do, as long as this doesn't look like that, and my target now becomes lower than my entry, then I would be in trouble. Then I'm really cautious on why am I entering? Do I need to relook at this model again? Right? Is this the end of this model? Is this a failed model? And why? And so because we had that standard deviation and it was this, I felt comfortable holding, right? Even once I got, once I got tagged in, I was like, cool. I would like to get tagged in, and I moved my entry from here to up here because I was like, all right, if we're gonna get tagged in, it's gonna be here. I don't think price could come down here. If this is what price is giving me, if this standard deviation is valid, I don't think we're gonna get price anywhere lower. So I entered, I got tagged in. You can see, boom, right there. And this is where all that shebang happened. And I took 5 more off because I wanted to just be on my original my entry, which would have been 4. I just wanted to add 1. So I pressed Shift B, but it was set to 5. So I quickly just readjusted, sold uh sold 4, sorry. And so then I was in with 4. So then what happened? Then why do we have all these remove? Hold on, let me get rid of this. I don't need it. Remove. Okay. So then what happened? Then we start moving into this inverted daily fair value gap. This is a 2 hour BPR. And I'm like, oh no. And here we go. Inverted daily fair value gap low. So again, we're moving into a fair value gap that we're breaking below. We're tapping back into it. What else? As right now, we have SMT inside. This is inside a 12-hour BPR, right? This is we tapped into this inversion of a daily fair value gap. We had SMT, and I was like, if this is gonna hold, this is a good place to just continue lower if we want to go there. So I took 4 off at 4 to 1. I took 4 off. Or sorry, I took 2 off. So now I'm riding with 2. And that's the trade. And that is where I'm at. And I'm happy to hold half of my position, which was 2, right? Because my risk only allowed me for 3 to start with. I added 1, moved my risk back to 250, and that was it. And so I'm writing this until we hit the target or until it comes back and gets me. But I took off at a place that I would expect price to stall and possibly reverse. And that's it. Otherwise, if that wasn't there, I wouldn't worry about any of this. I would hold my full position. And that's just the way that I trade, right? And I've seen success with that. But there are cases where I will de-risk according to what I see in price action, and this was one of them. So you can see my stop is now at plus $10. This is a de-risked trade at this point with half of my position, 2 contracts into my target. Whether it comes back all the way down and gets me out, that's fine, and I'm okay getting stopped out. Even if this was in like a regular, um, my full stop at half risk, I'm okay with that because I'm building conviction to my model. I'm trusting the model, and I'm letting things play out. So that's the goal, and that's what I'm doing when it comes down to this. And so it is Friday. We had no news. I wasn't expecting a lot, but I mean, this was a beautiful move to the upside, right? Beautiful move, holding above, tapping, hopefully tapping back into that CISD that we had before moving into completing our target. As long as time allows us, it's 133, and I think we're going to get that time. So if you are going to be looking at this, this was on Friday. This entry of Friday, March 21st. Target is right here, 19919.75 on MNQ. And you can see if it played out or not. And I'm just going to let it play out. But I wanted to make this video to give you guys just an idea of what I'm looking for, the type of trading that I'm doing, right? I am playing reversals. This is a reversal model on a market maker model. So yes, it's risky, right? It's there's a lot of momentum coming against, but if you're looking for the right setup, waiting, aligning bias, um, then it becomes a high probability setup, right? This another reason why I took off is a high time frame bias is bearish, and this is bullish. So I'm only playing this momentarily, all right? And I'm not trusting the full move, right? That's why I'm doing -2 standard deviations, because this thing could fail. And I'm looking at places where it could fail, paying attention. If I need to de-risk, I will, because it's going against my high time frame bias, but the model is still showing me where it wants to go regardless of my bias. I hope that makes sense. Um, Now, why am I taking so little trades? I'm only taking 2 trades a day. That has been honestly a game changer. And I hate that word, but it has. I've learned to take losses this week a lot more. It's been super helpful. It's been really healthy. I've been a lot more at peace with my trading. I've waited and I've been a lot more patient. I'm going to say that this week was one of the biggest, biggest wins for me when it comes to execution, when it comes to looking for my trades and learning from the bad executions that I had, which honestly, it was one. And I wrote it down, and it's already in my journal, and I've learned from that, and I know what to do, and I'm going to continue to do this, right? So I've given myself a week, this past week, to really hone in on my model, find my discipline, execute correctly, and be patient. And with 2 trades a day, I've been able to do that beautifully, beautifully this week. Even if it's paper trading, right? We took two trades on last live stream, and it was on a paper trade, and I said I'm done, and that was it, and I'm done, right? So um, traded one of the accounts. That was a combine. That was a bad trade. Let me talk about that one. That was a bad trade. I took it. I was up late. My bias was bearish. I knew that after price was done, and into next trading days open, I knew that I was bearish. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me just take this before I go to bed. So I did, and I put 30 contracts micros. Opened up myself to $500 of risk at one point. I closed it down to 270 as soon as possible. And 30 minutes later, I hit profit. So then that was up 1500 bucks. But that was a bad trade. That was probably the worst trade that I had this week. Um, and that's the one. And I was like, this isn't that wasn't the process wasn't there. I wasn't paying, I shouldn't have done it. I did it on my phone. Um, and that was just a bad trade in my books, right? So I wrote that down. Even though it was a profit trade, it was a bad trade. It was terrible. It was the worst trade of the week. The losses on the other hand were probably one of the best, cleanest trades. You saw that we had one that was pretty early, but the rest of them, the execution was there. Um, it just didn't work out, and that's okay. And I was really really happy with that. So you can see we're just playing this pullback, let's see. Just gonna do, yeah, we have an SMT here, right? Continue, maybe we continue higher from here. Maybe we dump just a little bit lower, tap into our CISD before moving higher into our target. So anyways, that's the video. I know this was a little bit longer, but I wanted to make sure that you guys get this. I wanted to make sure you understand what I'm looking at, how I'm going to be refining this model. This is the market maker model. Go and check out Justin. He just type in Justin. I don't know how to say his last name. Whirl something. Anyways, Justin Forever model. It's from there. This is the same model. There's multiple people that trade very similar things. Maybe they have different names, but it's ultimately the same thing. High time frame bias, high time frame manipulation, SMT, changing the state of delivery into a target. The only thing that I am doing, instead of looking for a liquidity, I'm actually aligning standard deviation into the most possible um, place where price can go, right? If there's a fair value gap around -2 standard deviations from my manipulation move, I'm going to target that instead of the liquidity. It's just I'm playing what the chart wants to give me. So we'll see how this turns out. We still have time. I think we could get this target sooner than later, unless we dump all the way back down. Then maybe we might be short on time if we get to 230. But I'm gonna let this play out. All right, this has been a beautiful entry, beautiful trade. I'm gonna call this a B setup. I would have loved to have a better stop loss location after getting this entry, because my stop loss was I think once I got it, I my stop loss was right here, right at the not at the bottom of this wick, but right in the wick. So I could have gotten stopped out, and that would have sucked. But ultimately, we didn't. Stop loss could have had a better position, whether that's opening my risk to 30, $50 more, as long as it was like a really like it was a solid stop loss. I think I would be okay with that, right? Because I know my risk parameters, and I know that I would accept that risk. So my stop loss was lit, yeah, like right above that CISD. So again, not the best place. Still got a beautiful entry. We got wicked in, um, and we've just been writing this, right? So took two off right up here for a nice little profit. Completely de-risk this at this point, because if it comes back, I don't really care to lose any more. I mean, we didn't lose anything on this one, but I wouldn't care to lose anything. I would be okay with this failing where it's at because of just my high time frame bias. And that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Discord in the first link below. Join. It's awesome. It is a great community. Again, I will say this over and over again. If you are going to be a douche or spam, we're going to kick you out because we have a great group going. It's a small group, but it's so good. So if you want to be around like-minded traders who are looking to become better, we don't have, I'm not the best, but I'm working on it. And we're always pushing each other. We're never judging, but we're learning from our mistakes. And join the group. First link in the description below. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.